Hey everyone, welcome. How are we all doing? Beautiful shorts today on the DAX. Seems to be a lot of selling off for the minute. What we all looking at? For me, DAX shorts this morning were very, very nice. I'll break those down shortly. But just touching on the S&P here, the ES. It's looking quite nice for some longs potentially. The structure is bearish. So I'd want to see, similar to how we had yesterday. We had this sort of shift. We was bullish on the 4 hour. We had first signs of bullish nature, and then yeah, longs taken, profits were then taken. I think I pretty much got out here. It was for decent profit, like one to about 1.6, something like that, 1 to 1.6, around $800. And it went on to hit TP anyway. But it was coming later in the day for me. It was like 6 o'clock ish, so I just took the profits, took advantage of that bullish run up. And it trickled around. As you can see, I don't need Asia session on here to know where Asia session is. Sideways price action, and as you can see, coming into the open here, the 230 open, big dump there, big dump. I mean, for me, I want to be focusing on the higher time frame here, and the 4 hour structure is definitely bullish. We're definitely bullish, and then when we look at the 15-minute structure, where we're heading. We had signs of bullish nature here, so I'm happy to take longs. We kind of shifted bearish here, and there was a nice short opportunity for sure. It would have been counter 4 hour, something I'd rather not take. I'd rather sit out. I mean, it's a nice trade. This one here is just as our kill zone opens, and then when the actual New York Open hits, dumps hard. Me looking at this now, we're seeing some liquidations here of yesterday's London lows. Potentially could get along, but I want to see some bullish intent here. I'd want it to push. I'm not going to get into longs and in here and hope that it's going to push here. Be quite a high risk. I'd rather wait for the market to show its hand, push up to like the 5-3-6-2, come back down, and then go bullish now, and that's probably going to be tomorrow. Now, won't be streaming for the next week. Won't be trading, but it's something for you guys to look for tomorrow potentially. I'd want to see bullish intent. I'm not really too concerned about buys now, although you could slightly higher risk, from this 5340 level potentially. Even if we drop onto the 1 minute time frame, just to see what's going on here. There's no real shift. It's nothing really. It's sort of forming this structure. Let's just pull it back here. You can see it in here. It's clearly bearish. And this is just like that bearish pullback. So I'd want it, it needs to even come up here to give us first signs of the 1 minute or lower time frame pullbacks there. So I'm happy to sit this one out. No buys for me, no sells. Well done for those that did capitalize. And yeah, for example, I definitely would have TP'd at like the 5-3-3-8 level. Hey George, how's it going? Yeah, DAX. That's why I wanted to jump on here. Actually, that was the main driver of today, and it has tickled the lows there. Going over to Trade Locker. I took the position here on Trade Locker this morning. So you can see here, I've been calling this for the whole of last week and this week. The DAX is clearly in a bearish market here. We're clearly pulling back. Yes, if we zoom out, it's in a bullish market and it is an indice. But like I said, when we were in this pullback here, we can capitalize on those bearish moves, and that's exactly what I've done this morning, capitalizing on the fact the high time frame is pushing lower and lower. And like I said numerous times, pushing higher fails to do so. Pushing higher fails to do so, and it's doing that at every sense. It's just failing to push higher there. So when we come and put in new lower lows and form, this is our current dealing range here. It's high to low. When we form that, we get into a premium market. We're inside session. I'm happy to take liquidations like these following the 4-hour momentum, following the 4-hour momentum trend and underlying sort of direction. And my TP was at the lows. You know, when we're in these trending markets, it likes to pull back into the premium market. Liquidation occurs, as you can see here. All these stacked highs here, this one specifically. You see the liquidation. It happens inside kill zone for the DAX. We get good confirmation of a pullback here. You can see all this, you don't even need to go to the 1 minute here. You can see that. You can see everything in the 15-minute ranges. Liquidation, confirmation of that, double confirmation, triple confirmation of that. Liquidation, pulls back. We see liquidation of the highs, pulls lower, again, liquidation of highs, pulls lower. So we're seeing bearish structure even here on the lower time frames. And all this is 15-minute highs, lows, open closes. Super simple. Super simple. So we pull inside here. It was around 9:30, I think it was. Just market ordered. 60-point stop loss. TP on the lows. Simple as that. Around 2.6%, 2.7%, something like that. But yeah, pro 4-hour momentum. Yes, the 15-minute, if you just plot this out here, it was bullish, as you can see here. And from a 15-minute point of view, yes, this is technically a higher risk trade. However, I'm following 4-hour. Just exactly the same as, or similar to ES, to the US 500 longs yesterday. We did have extra confirmation on these longs yesterday. However, we're following the underlying trend, the 4-hour being bullish. Yes, we had confirmation, first signs of bullish shift, and then we get second signs, and there were some nice long entries in here as well. I didn't capitalize on those, but I got this move up here, this run up, so that was quite nice. Confirmation in line with 4-hour. Same here, in line with 4-hour. We don't get the confirmation until just after session ends, just after that London session ends. So yeah, I'm happy to take this higher risk trade in line with 4-hour, well priced areas, targeting the key liquidity pools. And that makes sense. Super simple. I hope I stripped it back just enough for you guys to understand the thesis behind it. As you can see here. It's printing more bearish structure. The lower lows continue. Just like Cons there, you know, DAX finally pushed through the lows. It sure has. What's everyone got on their list today? I mean, there's nothing standing out really. Euro just pushing lower. I mean, it's exactly what I was saying yesterday with the dollar bulls coming in. The dollar bulls have really showed themselves on the dollar index. They're really coming into play here. Look, we're even forming new. This is new 4-hour here, new 4-hour structure. We broke the highs and we've put in a new higher high. This is almost confirmation on the 4-hour for dollar bull. So I could see EU just falling. Very, very harsh. You know, all this inbuilt liquidity here waiting to be settled out of the market. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it shapes up now. Even on EU, it's exactly the same as the index there. 4-hour confirmation of bearish nature is really just showing its hand. 15-minute, like I said yesterday on NFP, it's kind of tanked lower, and the NFP move, it was a big move for 1 minute or 1 15-minute candle. But look at the move after that. It's just wants to go lower. It's trickling lower and lower and lower. So yeah, that's kind of what we predicted yesterday. Internal structure here, puts in a high. You know, this kind of what we're seeing here. It's just trickling lower. I'd rather stay out of EU. Focus on like S&P. Nasdaq actually. There's a nice Nasdaq longs. NQ longs here. Yesterday, sorry, same as the S&P ones. Nice run up here. In terms of entries for me now, probably, yeah, nothing crazy. Big liquidations there. Liquidation is the highs, pushes lower, liquidation, mitigation, maybe going higher, but you know, look at that 15-minute candle. I'm not going to be buying that. Like, look at this. I'm going to enter here. My stop loss is at least going to have to be here. And then my TP is probably going to be there. I'm not going to be getting in for this one-to-one. I'd rather not. Yeah, because the chance of this just running lower, taking out this liquidity anyway. And if I was to be safe, and put this here, you know, even a 100-point stop loss, look at that. It's like a 0.9% or 0.90. Yeah, it's not worth it. Although it could just tank, but you know, I'm going to sit out. Sit that one out for sure. Yeah, another pullback on the DAX would be nice. Potentially 15-minute. That would be very nice, actually, George. Yeah, yeah. Push of these highs, liquidation. Maybe like 18,400, 18,420. Could be quite nice. I'll probably set an alert to this area. We'll see. See what happens when it gets there. Yes. Waiting. I'll always want to wait. Going to be more beneficial, you know, patience. There's nothing worse than jumping into the market when you don't have full confidence in it. This buy here, I had full confidence in this trade. I literally entered this trade with no emotion whatsoever. I was happy if it took me for a loss, and I was happy if it took me for a win. Zero emotion, I couldn't really care less. So yeah, I'm happy to wait. I think that's probably one of the hardest skills to learn, patience, especially if you're quite a impatient person. Yeah, EU, just not really that interested in EU. It's always doing on the 1 minute on the S&P here. Yeah, like I said, for it to even shift from a 1 minute point of view, it's going to have to get up to like 5,350, something like that. Then see some structure. So I mean, that's probably not going to happen in the next hour. Sendex prop. Yeah, well, I mean, what do you want to know about them? It's a Alpha Capital, part of Alpha Capital Group, I believe. Yeah. Good prop, been in the space for quite some time. Wonder if NQ still pushing higher. Strange price action there on the open. You see liquidations here, and then it's probably. I mean, the desired direction is always going to be bullish anyway. For these indices. I'll move on over to gold shortly, actually. Yeah, let's have a look at gold, see what's happening there. That NFP sell-off was, it was, you know, significant. Moved a significant amount of pips lower. Gold as an asset, though, from my point of view, is always going to want to go up. So like this here, big sell-off, bearish nature continues, then it takes off, puts in new high highs. Big sell-off, big sell-off. Are we seeing new higher highs? Maybe. And then in that sense, what would we get if we're in a trending market, and if we are typical traders, typical, well, I don't know, pattern type traders, which, don't get me wrong, as a strategy it does work if you give it enough time and apply the concepts correctly. However, 1, 2, 3 drives, typically that's when you tend to see a bit of a deeper pullback. And then that would put gold right at the 2.5k mark. Key level, $2,500 per ounce. A lot. We'll go there, potentially. At the minute, it's from a 4-hour point of view, bearish. B1, B2, big bearish sell-off here. And like it's almost looks like, you know, that flag pattern. That flag sell-off, you know, could trick people to go short. But the key thing with the flag, like, if you're getting up here, and if that's how you trade, crack on. You know, with it, if you're getting in short here after this confirmation of the 4-hour close, yeah, you probably want to TP here. There's no point in holding that in the lieu that it's probably going to go low, because this, as a pattern from my experience, is going to get manipulated to the lows and then take off anyway in the desired direction. It's like like big sell-off, consolidation, mitigation down here, and then it takes off, forms new trend, mitigation, new trend, liquidation, mitigation. It happens in every sense. Just be mindful of that. Definitely bearish though, for sure, from a 4-hour point of view. And we'll see. 15 minutes. Just first signs of bullish nature here, similar to how we had the S&P yesterday. Yeah, interesting price action. Again, not something I'm really interested in at the minute. Focus is on S&P. See where it wants to go. In terms of this sideways range here, it's kind of stuck within this range. Maybe we might see some commitment after CPI tomorrow, inflation. But this was NFP. And we had a massive sell-off. It almost induces people to go short, tricks people to go short. Recovery is just as great, and then some. Are we going to get that again? CPI, big sell-off, gets people involved in the market. Stop losses above here. Above here, recovery is just as great, and even then some. Maybe that could happen. From my experience, that is the more likely, more probable scenario. But we'll see. I won't be trading tomorrow, but for those that are, be mindful. Be mindful of the inflation rates, the CPI rates tomorrow. I wouldn't have a position open. It's a restricted news event at Top Funder, so yeah. Mitigation is the process of buying or selling out of an order that's resting, or a previous order that you might have open. Let's take a look at DAX, see what DAX is doing. Oh, starting to go a little bit lower. 18,400, that's what I want. I want it to get there. Will it get there? That's a different question. I mean, this short was just so nice this morning. It's such a good short. Following the high time frame, even when it liquidates, look at that. Big impulsive nature. Forces people to go long. People went long, get taken out, and then it really tanks. It's almost like, you know, you look at you buy it here, stops below the low, you get taken out, mitigation occurs here at 10 a.m. and then it really drives lower. Really nice short that was. Really nice. I hope some of you guys capitalize on it. I know George in here. George did capitalize on that, which is good to see. Unfortunately, it wasn't a free signal for you guys because that was a London session. I'm only stream a New York session because realistically, these days only I do like just looking at the S&P and DAX, of course. The London session, that is. But S&P suits my schedule for sure. Are we going to? I mean, in terms of 50-minute ranges, it's broke out of the range. I could see this pushing higher. 5360 at least. So yeah, super interesting. Kind of a waiting game. Really some strong momentum looking like now. Like I've just said, broken out of the range. And is that continuing? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for it to come to the 5360 pullback, liquidation, and then take it higher. On the CAC 40, ooh, the French index. That is super interesting. I don't even know what that's called on TraderBait. You know what it's called on TraderBait on the futures platform? I literally have no idea. Not something that I've ever traded before, but as far as assets go, we've got so many different options these days. I can even trade live cattle if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'll stick with the S&P. I mean, yeah, we're not really from like a 1 minute point of view, and like I said, I don't really like to flick onto the 1 minute too much, but it is quite good, and especially like I said last week, post news events like here, it's very useful, and that's where I'll implement it. But it's quite good to see, like even this 15-minute run up, 1 minute structure is not really that convincing. It's quite corrective. There's no sort of liquidation events happening. It's just pushing higher, pushing higher. I can see all of that getting taken out. For example, if it runs up here 5360, I don't know, 5353, whatever, something like that, you know, puts in new structural highs, and then I can see it just taking all of that. Transport. Yeah, I don't think that's like a CFD name for it. No, I have no idea what it is on a futures platform. I'll sort of have a browse, see if it's on here. It'll be in there somewhere. God knows what the name is though. Uh, I don't see any CAC or French. Interesting. I can imagine the short was very similar to the DAX, which we caught this morning. Super nice, like I said, super clean. Nice trade. And waiting for that 18,400 on the DAX this morning. We shall see. It'll be interesting to see if when this closes in 3 minutes, you know, I could see this pushing and breaking these highs and getting in. New structural highs here on the 15-minute potentially. Some of you are probably already long here, which is fine. A bit more higher risk from my point of view. I'll give it a few minutes. I want to see how this 15-minute candle closes. About NQ, yeah, NQ is doing the same, but you know, in terms of entry candles, this bullish one here, there's no real signal there. And this one here, like even if there's a signal for entry, let's just look at this on the NQ. Like I said, with this bullish candle here, it's just massive. Even if there's a signal for entry here, look where my stop loss is going to have to go. And realistically, I'm probably going to put it here if I was to long it. Yeah, it's just not worth it. Not worth the risk to reward. I mean, if you're looking for buys here, ES looks a lot stronger, but like I said, be cautious. It could just come into here and trade lower. On the hunt for further liquidity and continue the bearish nature here on the 15-minute. Well, these 15-minute candles looking quite nice for it to potentially take out these highs and come and pick us up. A few more seconds till the close. There we go, confirmation. I mean, it's quite a good buy confirmations here. Nice breakouts of the range there, of the 15-minute ranges. So, like I said though, even if you buy in here, stop loss realistically wants to be here. 1 to 1.5 to the highs. It's probably not worth it because even like realistically, like this one here, I got out at like 1 to 1.5 because it made sense. It was coming towards the end of the session for me. So if this is to push up, for example, to come into here, I'd probably be like 1 to 1, maybe 0.75 or something like that. So yeah, I'd want to make sure that I've got like a 1 to 2, 1 to 3. This allows me a bit more room. And then, like I said, on the 1 minute here, we've put in new structural highs here, so it'll be interesting to see where we go from here. Liquidation here, and then go. That's a potential for sure. Probably see a little bit of a deeper pullback. So yeah, no trades on it yesterday. Nothing great. Just the German 40, the DAX short there, which was really nice, and I hope you guys took some value from it anyway. Yeah, any questions, just shoot me a message on Instagram and I'll see you all.